Explain to me how this TARDIS is larger on the inside than the out.
All right, I'll show you. It's because insides and outsides are not in the same dimension. Which box is larger?
That one.
Now, which is larger?
That one.
But it looks smaller.
Well, that's because it's further away.
Exactly. If you could keep that exactly that distance away and have it here, the large one would fit inside the small one.
That's silly.
That's transdimensional engineering, a key Time Lord discovery.
Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I'm going to be looking back on what many people class as the golden age of Doctor Who. This is the Philip Hinchcliffe era, the first run of Tom Baker stories, you know, from season 12 to season 14, not including Robot, as that was produced by Barry Letts. So we're doing those 16 stories in a top 10 list. Now, just a little disclaimer before we start, I haven't seen The Hand of Fear. It's the only one I haven't seen, so I may do a revised version after I've seen that. But other than that, I've seen all the others. And you know, there are very few duds. Maybe that will change with the hand when I watch The Hand of Fear. But you never know. I might like it, I might not. Who knows? But anyway, there are very few duds with this. There are none that I would really class as absolutely horrible. There are no stories which I would not watch under any circumstances. They're all enjoyable at the very least. So now, with that said, let's get on to number 10, which is the Android Invasion.
I haven't lost it. You never had it. Sarah came here, turned the key in the lock, and cancelled the pause control. The TARDIS continued on its set coordinates back to Earth.
I don't understand.
Yes, you do. This isn't Earth. This isn't real wood. It's some kind of artificial material like plastic. These are not real trees. And you're not the real Sarah.
Now, funnily enough, this came 10th on my top 10 Tom Baker stories that I did quite a while ago, actually. It was my first top 10. And I've seen quite a few of his stories since then, which are dotted about here. They're mostly from the Philip Hinchcliffe era. So this retains 10th place, I guess. Although it doesn't really retain it, I don't know. But anyway, it's 10th place here, and I really do like this story. You know, it does often get a bad reputation. You know, it's kind of argued between this and Planet of Evil as whether or not it's the weak link of season 13. I personally think it's Planet of Evil. Not that it's a bad story, I just prefer Android Invasion to it quite a bit. I just love that kind of like sleepy English village being empty and whatnot with all that mystery. I love that kind of story. And yeah, that's that. Now let's move on to 9th place, which is The Face of Evil.
Now drop your weapons, or I'll kill him with this deadly jelly baby.
Kill him then.
What?
Kill him then.
I don't take orders from anyone. Take me to your leader.
Now, this is Leela's first story, and for those of you who don't know, Leela is my favourite companion. And she's the only companion to be introduced during the Philip Hinchcliffe era, because Sarah and Harry, the only other two companions that were in that era, were introduced before that, either in Robot or in John Pertwee's era. So yeah, it's interesting for that, and I hear some people don't like the story. I personally really enjoy it quite a bit. The jungle is absolutely incredible. It really does look amazing. And I think it's just a very interesting story. It's got a lot of smart ideas in it, and I like that about it. It's very intelligent. Got a very intelligent script. Now let's move on to 7th? Yeah, no. 8th place. The Deadly Assassin.
Doctor! My congratulations! You're just in time for the end! You're insane! You're insane, you hear? You're releasing a force that nothing can stop. Tasting pot! You can take it with you to your grave! Except that none of you will leave the grave! If you undo that, you'll die as surely as any of us! You can do better than that, Doctor. Even in extremis, I wear the sash of Rattle. Yes! And the President was wearing it when he was shot down! The sash won't protect you! It's damaged! You lie!
The Deadly Assassin, not much to say about this really. It shows Time Lord society in a way that really makes you understand why the Doctor left. They're very corrupt and whatnot. And it's just a very entertaining story. The Matrix scenes is very well done, and overall, a very good story. But what can beat this? Well, quite a lot of things, but starting off with Terror of the Zygons.
A monster of frightening size and power.
This one they call the Doctor is a threat to us. Already he has found out too much. He must be destroyed.
There's not much I've really got to say about this story at the moment, as I will be doing a review of it after Series 8 has finished. But it is incredible. I mean, just look at that Zygon in the image at the moment, and it just looks so realistic. It is one of the most realistic costumes that has ever been created for Classic Who. And Doctor Who in general, I guess, is just such a great and almost simple design, but not quite. It's absolutely incredible. And the story really does work well too. So now let's move on to next place. I've forgotten the number, I'm afraid, but anyway, it is Pyramids of Mars.
Use your powers for evil.
Evil? Your evil is my good. I am Sutek the Destroyer. Where I tread, I leave nothing but dust and darkness. I find that good.
6th place, that's where we're at, of course we are. So Pyramids of Mars, which is of course the actual thing we're supposed to be talking about, not what place we're at. I mean, come on, I should know this. Anyway, Pyramids of Mars, what a fantastic story it is. A real classic. Very scary at times. Sutek is an amazing villain, and what it does good is that it's an epic story. It's got a really big threat. And what's good about that is that it's relatively unheard of at this time. Mostly it's just the Earth danger. This time it's almost everything at stake, and it's good because of that. Whereas in the new series they do it too much so that the threat just gets taken away. But here it's good because it's not used as much, and it's really established through Tom Baker's performance that it is an immense threat they're facing. So now let's move on to 5th place, of course, because we're at 6th place. Now we'll move on to 5th place. It's the logical progression of things, and that is the Ark in Space.
Fools! Human fools!
So this is the first story from Philip Hinchcliffe's era, and it is one of the best. It is absolutely incredible. It's got that, it goes back to that base under siege type of story of the Patrick Charlton era, which was lost during the John Pertwee era. Not that I mind, because there are loads of other great stories, but it's nice to get back to this basic format. It really is a good story by Robert Holmes, and it's just very entertaining. Harry's really good in it, Sarah's really good at it, and the Doctor's really good in it. And you've also got a great guest cast of supporting characters. So now let's move on to 4th place, Genesis of the Daleks.
To hold in my hand a capsule that contained such power. To know that life and death on such a scale was my choice. To know that the tiny pressure on my thumb, enough to break the glass, would end everything. Yes, I would do it. That power would set me up above the gods. And through the Daleks, I shall have that power.
Now, what an incredible story this is. I don't really have to say why this is so good. Michael Wisher is sensational as Davros. He truly is the best we have ever gotten. And Tom Baker is at his most assured, and he gives that really good speech. And that's kind of like the turning point for his character, I guess. Really defining moment for him. So now, let's move on to third place, The Seeds of Doom.
Sit down. Miss Smith will be our subject, like so.
No!
Fetch some clamps, Keeler.
No, you can't. It's inhuman.
I don't care. I must know what happens when the crinoid touches human flesh.
Now, I hadn't seen this story at the time I did my top 10 Fourth Doctor stories, but if I had, it would definitely be in a high position on that. It really would. It's such a great story. Howson Chase is an amazing villain played by Tony Beckley. And you've also got Scorby, who I can't remember the name of the actor who played him, but he was also brilliant. The Doctor's a bit overly violent in this, but I feel that's justified by the sheer kind of like threat that the crinoid poses and the immediate threat and no one listening to him. It's just a fantastic story. It never breaks the pace. It really is deserving of 6 parts. And now let's move on to second place. We're almost there, and we have The Talons of Wind Cheyenne.
This is a big village.
Yes.
What's the name of the tribe here?
Cockneys.
The sound of death.
You stay here.
The Last Hurrah, Philip Hinchcliffe's final story for Doctor Who that he produced. And what an amazing one it is. It truly is just spectacular in every way. It does have some minor flaws here and there, but nevertheless it is fantastic. I love the Victorian setting. I love the idea of kind of like this war criminal escaping back in time to the Victorian era. And overall it's just a great story. So now let's move on to first place, which I'm sure many of you have guessed by now. It is, of course, The Robots of Death.
Otherwise they wouldn't go to all this trouble.
But those creepy mechanical men.
Yes. I have seen a similar sort of thing on Kalano Beta. The mind passes over the surface searching for useful ores. Naturally, the heavier elements tend to sink into substratas. So a really good sandstorm is a bonus. It stirs things up a bit.
Sometimes you talk like a Tetch.
Thank you.
It was not well meant. Are the mechanical men friendly?
Robots don't have feelings. It's the people they serve we must hope are friendlier.
Perhaps there are no people here.
What? Robots don't need chairs, and certainly not padded ones.
Because they have no feelings?
The Robots of Death was first place on my top 10 Fourth Doctor stories, so of course would be first place here. Nothing I've seen has managed to knock this from top spot just yet. You know, I haven't seen all of them, so maybe there's something out there that I prefer. But at the moment, this is my favourite Philip Hinchcliffe story and my favourite Fourth Doctor story overall. And definitely one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. Definitely top 5. I'm not quite sure. It may be number 1. But you know, it's hard to really judge. But anyway, that's all I really have to say on the Philip Hinchcliffe era. Thanks for watching this top 10 video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.